Hey everyone, welcome back. Oh God, no. No, it's not today. Oh God. They're coming. So yeah, happy 4th of July to all of my American viewers. Obviously, as a Brit, I don't really celebrate 4th of July. Nobody does over here. Why would we? Technically, it's our historic loss of North America. But yes, to all those who celebrate it, happy 4th of July. I thought it would be fitting for all of the American viewers out there that I react to a video of top 10 American facts that make no sense to anyone else. And yeah, I'm going to see what it's about. I'm interested to learn some things about America for sure, because I've got a few very, very strong supporters from there, obviously Guy, and others as well. So, you know, any more that I can learn about your culture that helps me understand a bit more of your background and your country, then I'm more than happy to do that. The only experience of America I've got is New York. I went on a school trip in 2017. I think it was February, so it was really cold and there was snow everywhere and it was horrible. And then it went really hot all of a sudden and it was like 18 degrees by the afternoon. We were all in big coats, sweating our bollocks off. It was a weird one. That was a really weird one, but it was a good trip. The food was a plus. You guys have big portions. We went to McDonald's and a large drink there, I think it's a litre. And that, why you'd need a litre of anything. I've got a picture of me holding a Wendy's cup. I think it's a lemonade. As well, lemonade to you guys is flat. Like, I ordered Fanta and lemonade and a lot of the times it would be flat. I don't know if that's just what it is over there, or I don't know, but I asked for Fanta and it came as a flat orange juice, which I thought was strange. Maybe it wasn't carbonated at that particular moment, but the lemonade for sure is still, and that was interesting to me. I thought it would be sparkling naturally. I thought that was what lemonade was, really, but I guess you guys have more of the stalls with someone with a jug outside of water and lemon, so I guess that's technically lemonade as well. But yeah, we're going to jump into it. Thank you, as always, to everyone who checks out this video, whether you're from America or not, whether you're celebrating today or you're not. And I hope you enjoyed that intro. But yeah, we're going to check out this video, jump right in. Without any further ado, please leave a like if you enjoyed, please subscribe for more, and comment down below anything else you would like to see from me. Without any further ado, as I say, let's go.
Simon Whistler, you're watching Top 10's Net, and in the...
Okay. What better way to learn about America than from a Brit? I've seen this guy everywhere. Doesn't he do like infographics and stuff like that? How many channels does this guy have? Fuck me.
The video today we're looking at the top 10 facts about America that make no sense to anyone else.
Let me know, people from America, whether he's spot on or not.
America. It's one of the biggest countries on Earth, both in terms of population and sheer size. It's the planet's dominating superpower, the heaviest hitter where culture is concerned, and a place known by nearly every single human being on the planet, and to all but the 4 to 5% of humanity who live there, it makes absolutely no gosh darn sense. You see, despite its cultural clout, America is still deeply weird to foreigners. And we don't just mean people who come from repressive kingdoms and...
This is the thing, though, that you've got to think about America, is that unless you're a native, your history is relatively short. Like, especially compared to the UK. The UK's got history upon history, and obviously your guys' history is whenever we settled there, which I think 1776 or something like that. Yeah, your guys' history is relatively short if you think about it compared to everywhere else. So whenever you talk about America as being the superpower, it's a very young country, really, for as far along as it is. China would be an example of a very old superpower. It's a superpower that we kind of did dirty with the opium trades and stuff like that, and you know, we fucked a fair few countries over, including your own. which is why you celebrate breaking away from us, as many countries do. But yeah, it's very interesting how quickly you guys developed. I think it's probably because you had access to technology readily available from, our development, and I'm not just saying English development, but European development as a whole. And then obviously European development came from other sources, and there's always a building block structure from everywhere around the world. Obviously China and I believe Middle Eastern countries were quite influential in terms of mathematics as well, early mathematics. So it's just crazy. But I'm going off on a wild tangent, and you didn't come here for a history lesson from me. We came here for some weird facts about your country, so let's continue.
Pot dictatorships. Europeans, people from Southeast Asia, Australians and Brits, we all find huge chunks of the good old US of A little bit beyond comprehension. If you were born stateside, well, maybe this video isn't going to be weird for you, but trust me, every foreigner watching this is watching with their jaw dangling open and their eyeballs popping out. Number 10, US toddlers shoot one person a week.
Fucking hell, okay. I thought it was going to be like fun facts. Oh no. Oh fuck. I'm sorry, I am sorry. And I'm guessing you guys don't really want my opinion on gun regulations and things like that.
Americans sure love guns. The US has the highest rate of gun ownership on planet Earth and the least restrictive gun laws. Only Switzerland comes close. That's all thanks to the Second Amendment, which has been the subject of near constant debate since being written. But it's not the sheer number of guns in America that really astounds foreigners, it's the crazy things that this leads to. Things like US toddlers shooting one person a week. There's literally no other country on Earth you could write that sentence about. Even countries that are swimming in guns like Serbia, Norway and Switzerland don't have toddlers blowing one another away. To be fair, they have tiny populations, but to be even...
I'm not going to say I'm not going to sit here and just let him imply that it's toddler on toddler violence. Toddlers aren't pulling up to the preschool dueling in the middle of the preschool. It's like, I challenge you to a duel. That's not happening. I'm guessing it's likely that they get a hold of the parents' guns and then shoot the parents, which is still fucked. Don't get me wrong, that is still fucked. But it's less fucked than a toddler committing premeditated murder. Let's not go that far. They're not doing drive-bys. Fuck it, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. I guarantee you it doesn't.
Fairer. Come on, man. US toddlers have shot, on average, one person a week, including themselves, for the past 2 years. Even war zones don't have numbers like that. More bizarre still, America keeps on arming its toddlers. In 2016, Iowa made it legal for babies to handle loaded guns. Oh yes, that's right, the guys in the Hawkeye state elected to arm the very babies that are trying to shoot them. How's that for hubris?
I get like, oh, there's a home invader or whatever, but children are unstable. I'm barely fucking holding it together myself. If you gave me an AK and pissed me off, I'm telling you, it's a recipe for disaster. You're giving children who have tantrums a death machine. All it takes is for you to give him detention or take away his Xbox. He's already doing it in the games. He's already cantering round corners. Oh my God. Oh, that's astounding. He said they made no sense, and they fucking don't, man. That is nuts.
Number 9. Bestiality is still legal in 9 US states, but premarital sex is outlawed. Despite this being 2007...
Oh, Lord. Help me, Jesus. No, guys, no. Really? What states? Not that I want to go there, and but drop them in the comments. But yeah, you guys have a strange relationship with religion. I'm not going to get into the whole religious debate, because that's your prerogative. If you want to believe in that, then go for it. It's just so heavily Christian and heavily forced upon you. Like, laws are based around religion. That's weird. That is weird. I mean, I guess it's not weird to a lot of other countries, like Muslim countries, Islamic countries, but to a Westerner, that is slightly strange to base laws and then say that it's enforced by God. That's very, very shaky grounds.
Plenty of US states still have sex laws on the books that are, well, let's say unenlightened to say the least. And by that, we mean they were seemingly written by two guys named Festus and Bubba while necking with their pet hog, Clancy. Incredible as it may seem, there are nearly 10 US states where it is still legal to have sexual intercourse with animals.
I'm not even going to comment on what that infographic was labelled.
Well, nearly 10 because one's the District of Columbia, not a state, kids. The other 9 are Hawaii, Kentucky, Nevada, New Mexico, Ohio, Texas, Vermont, West Virginia, and Wyoming.
Hawaii?
In addition, plenty of states still only consider bestiality a misdemeanor. This would be odd enough if the US was a spectacularly licentious place, but it's not. In addition to allowing you to marry your bestest sow, 4 states still outlaw either premarital or extramarital sex or cohabiting with your partner prior to marriage. While the laws are effective...
Living with your partner before marriage? No. Oh, no. This is what you've got them doing, man. Is this what you wanted? Is this what you wanted? People aren't living in harmony together with who they love because they aren't married under your supervision. Make it make sense. Make it make sense.
Never enforced.
Wow.
The fact that they're still on the statute books attests to America's unique mix of religious piety and deep-seated desire to mimic the guys from Deliverance. Number 8, the highest paid public employee in 39 states is a sports coach. Go to any other country in the Western world, Canada, Germany, the Czech Republic, New Zealand, wherever, and the highest paid public employee will be someone
like paid
working
athletes.
in a selfless capacity. They'll be the guys and gals running universities or public hospitals or the local council. America, though, laughs in the face of such devotion to the public good. Instead of rewarding headmasters or doctors or teachers, the highest public pay package in 39 states.
That actually kind of makes sense.
Coaches, specifically.
Like, it doesn't, because let's be honest, like, does a coach deserve all that much? I guess yes and no. I mean, it's sports. Sports people are all overpaid. Let's call it what it is. Like, in football, in my football, you're getting like £100 million transfers and wages to match. And Kylian Mbappe, I'm pretty sure, owns a part of PSG. So, you know, these are different types of money moves that are being made because it brings viewership and attention. So, if you're doing well, that means that likely everything else with your team is going to do well. You're getting exposure, you know, shirt sales, I'm sure, go up and everything like that. So, I guess it makes sense why the coach would be paid more, but it is a shame, like teachers and nurses and everything over here as well are underpaid for what they do. Yeah, it's kind of shit, but that's the world we live in.
Guys coaching football or men's basketball. Oh, we're not talking comparatively small sums either. The salaries involved would be enviable in the private sector. University of Alabama football coach Nick Saban, for example, rakes...
Okay, yeah, that wouldn't happen. Over here, if you went to university and you're on a sports team, unless maybe it was like Oxford or Cambridge and it was rowing or something like that, but your coach is not getting paid. You probably don't even have a coach. Let's be honest. It's probably just an organisation set up by the students. That's what it's like over in the UK. You got like a basketball team and it's shoddy. You got like 6 people and then the rest are all like 6'2".
In over $7 million plus bonuses, likely making him one of the highest paid public employees not living in a corrupt dictatorship. For those from outside the US, this seems less extravagant and more like an absolute inability to get their priorities right. Only Alaska, Delaware, Hawaii, Maine, Montana, New York, Nevada, New Hampshire, Vermont, and both Dakotas refuse to award their highest pay packet to a football or men's basketball coach. Interestingly,
That is insane
both
when you look at
Hawaii
the map.
and Vermont, as you'll remember from a second ago, still technically allow bestiality. We're really not sure what to make of that. Number 7.
I wonder if that's just like a law that hasn't been changed yet, because we've got some really old, weird laws that make no sense at all. So I'm hoping that if the police caught you fucking a donkey, they would arrest you. I'm hoping. But then I guess they'd have to let you go because it's technically not a crime.
Half of all Americans don't hold a valid passport. In 2014, polling...
Yeah, I guess because you don't have to go anywhere. America's so vast and has so many different climates and things like that. And you tend to drive. Like most places, you don't take a train and things like that. So I guess if you do fly intranationally inside your own country, then you'd have a passport for that. But for most others, I guess you just get to where you get to by driving. That is crazy. That is crazy. I think I had a passport when I was like 5.
Company YouGov revealed that only 8% of Britons had never left their country of birth to travel abroad. While this is maybe not
pretty
that
accurate,
super impressive, Britain is tiny.
I say pretty accurate. It's a statistic.
It puts
so yeah.
the US to shame. The same poll found that only 50% of Americans would admit to ever having left the country. That's nearly 160 million.
Well, that doesn't add up. How can you have... Well, I guess ours doesn't either. I guess that's like a percentage of those who decline to answer.
And Americans would admit to ever having left the country. That's nearly 160 million people who have never been to Canada or Mexico, let alone Europe or Asia. For people who were born in Europe, that's almost
crazy.
like saying you've never seen a glass of water. The idea of not going abroad from time to time is alien. In places like Germany, over 90% of the population hold a valid passport, and you better believe they use it. But that's Europe, we hear you cry. It's a small continent with like a bazillion countries. Well, first, we're pretty sure you're exaggerating, and second, look at Australia, a country nearly as big as the US and more cut off from the rest of the world. According to official data, 1/3 of the population goes abroad every single...
But this is the thing though, like, you can't... Well, maybe you can, but I'm guessing it's much harder to find a place in Australia where there's a ski resort and then one where, you know, there's a beach and then a swamp and then trees and greenery and mountain ranges and all this. And you can get all of that in America, but I think for the most part it's just beaches and desert in Australia. I feel bad for him, man, with all those fucking creatures and everything. Ugh, the spiders, Jesus. I hate spiders. I really don't like them.
Yeah, that compares to 50% of Americans over their entire lifetimes. Clearly, the US is a...
Let me know if you're from America, if you've ever been abroad, and if so, where? I feel like the older you get, the more likely you are to go abroad, let's say in your 40s, 50s, but then once you reach a certain point, like 70 plus, you're not going to bother to go abroad or anything like that, I don't think. Especially when you, like I say, you could just go and drive somewhere and find a nice place to chill by a beach or go to Disney World or whatever it happened to be. So, you know.
A travel-averse country. Number 6. 30% of Americans prefer saving money to vital medical treatment. Compared to other developed nations, healthcare in the US is
I knew that one.
expensive. You can blame that on too much Obamacare or not enough of it, but the fact remains that public systems, private systems, and public-private systems elsewhere in the world all deliver better service at lower cost. This alone can seem staggering to foreigners. Then there's the American attitude to health. Faced with a serious illness or injury, around 30% of Americans would rather walk it off than pay for treatment. This, well, it simply doesn't happen anywhere else. Norway has the second most expensive healthcare system in the world, and pretty much no one there avoids necessary treatment. Japan has an insurance-based private system with payments often covered by employers, just like the US, and people don't skip out on medical care. In order to find other people who are skipping out on hospitalization to save money, you have to leave the developed world behind and start poking around in poorer countries where wages are low and healthcare is unaffordable. We're not trying to rag on American healthcare here. America has some of the best doctors and hospitals in the world.
True.
But the idea that you'll choose money over health, or that you'd have to choose two non-Americans, that's kind of insane. Number 5, 7 states have custody rights for rapists. Okay, let's turn to some really, really dark stuff now. There exists a certain subsection of guys who, well, they like to rape women. Occasionally, this results in their victims getting...
Not just men on women, though, let's be honest. There are also female rapists. I mean, why I'm even trying to defend male rapists, I don't know. They're both as fucking vile as each other. I just felt I needed to state that
pregnant.
Sometimes there are female
where they live and their religious
rapists.
convictions, the women may then decide to carry the baby to term. Now, here's where it gets really creepy.
Well, I guess if it could work the other way around, if a woman raped a man and then carried it to term, then the man could challenge for custody of it. Yeah, I guess. I mean, that's fucked. That is
around
fucked.
7 states, it's perfectly legal for the rapist father to sue for custody of his newborn child. Just imagine that for a second. You've been violently assaulted, you've gone through the hell of guilt and self-recrimination, been courageous enough to bring the resulting baby into the...
Is that an actual rape victim, or have they just pulled a picture of a random woman who's just given birth and then pixelated her face and implied that she's been raped? Because if it's the former, that's kind of dodgy. And if it's the latter, that's kind of dodgy. Like, does no one else find that weird? Why didn't you pixelate the baby's face?
The world, and now you're
I guess because it doesn't look like that anymore.
The who hurt you decides he wants to be a father to your son or daughter. Well, if you live in Alabama, Mississippi, Maryland, New Mexico, North Dakota, Wyoming, or Minnesota, that can totally happen. In addition, there are 20 more states where it might be legal. In Indiana, for example, you can only block the rapist from seeking custody if you remember to do so within 3 months of your baby being born. This is some seriously dark stuff, and we guarantee that if you mention it to anyone from anywhere else in the developed world, their jaws will drop so low they hit the ground. Okay, sure, some Middle East
my jaws
states
dropped,
may have
it's just
even
not
worse
very
laws,
low.
but that's not really a benchmark to aspire to, is it? Number 4, America has more self-identified patriots than anywhere else on Earth. In 2016, Gallup released the results of their yearly patriotism poll. They found that 52% of Americans call them...
I feel like if you went back to certainly like 1940s, 30s, you know, you'd find extremely patriotic people. But I feel like since the Second World War, it's slowly been on a decline. Really, I think it took charge in the 60s, 70s kind of era, that sort of movement. And then, it's just slowly been decreasing here. But I think it's stayed pretty steady over in your guys' area. Because Americans are well known for being patriotic, so this kind of makes sense to me. This isn't all that shocking.
Extremely patriotic, which is the lowest level in polling history. The news triggered a slew of introspective articles by American writers wondering what it...
Well, that shut me up, didn't it? It's actually dropped massively.
...gone wrong. For those reading elsewhere in the world, though, it felt like stepping through the looking glass. 52% is such a good score that it leaves other countries eating the USA's dust. Such levels of patriotism simply don't exist in the rest of the developed world. In a similar survey by YouGov, only 13% of Brits thought their country was the best in the world. That was the highest score in the EU.
Right.
Germany and France got only 5% each. The second and third highest ranking countries globally, India and Australia, who scored 34% and 36% respectively. But the US,
That's quite
the
high.
US busted through the 40%
India doesn't
mark,
surprise
with
me,
an
Australia
additional
does.
32% claiming America was at the very least better than most other countries. For the majority of foreigners, the idea of
better in what sense? Like, better in terms of area and stuff like that? Like, America's got a much better, range of areas than we have because it's so much bigger. But if you're talking like country as in country with laws and its society, then I'd argue no.
showing US levels of patriotism is simply alien. You will never see a flag in every yard in any other country on Earth, but that's the US public for you, optimistic to a T. Even if they're unhappy with their current government, folks still believe that the idea of America itself
Let's be honest though, everyone is always unhappy with the current government pretty much. I can't tell you a time when anyone's been happy with our current government. Well, not even our current government, any of our governments. There's always been, every person has always found something to complain about, something. Because there's always something you're going to disagree with, but that's life. Not that what we've got in at the moment is doing any fucking good at all, but that is what it is, It's shit and it's not going to get better anytime soon, I don't think.
Number 3. Americans are more likely to get bitten by other Americans than rats. The stereotype is that Americans like 3 things: football, fast food, and violence, often all at once. It's true that America's murder rate is crazy high. It's also true that the national sport is getting drunk and starting bar fights. But surely it's not as bad as all that. Well, we hate to break it to you, but this arresting statistic says otherwise. If you live in America, you are more likely to be bitten by another American than you are by a rat. To be clear, this isn't because US rats are particularly docile or rare on the ground. Cities like New York
I was just about to pause and say that.
And people are getting bitten all the time.
Oh,
there
shit.
are over 40,000 rat bites recorded in America each year. The only trouble is there are at least 45,000 human bites recorded right alongside them. Again, this is a freaky fact for Americans too, but also, again, it's just something that doesn't happen in most other countries. Sure, drunks in Britain do like to hit each other, and Italian soccer hooligans are violent as heck, but biting enough people to outstrip rats, it's something we can't imagine anywhere else. Number 2,
in comparison to rats.
Fast food extremely literally. The United States is the birthplace of fast food. It's the nation that brought the world the drive-thru, perfected the snack, and coined the phrase lunches for wimps. Foreigners know all this intellectually, but confront them with a statistic like
I've never heard that, lunches for wimps.
Likely to blow their minds. Americans, you see, are the 3rd fastest eaters on Earth. On an average day, Americans spend only 74 minutes eating, nearly the lowest in the world. That's only slightly over 20 minutes each for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and far less if you include time put aside for eating snacks. If you live in the US, this probably doesn't seem so weird to you. The working lunch is an American speciality, but if you live elsewhere, well, you're probably wondering how the heck they do it. In France, the average eating time is 135 minutes a day. In Turkey, it's 162 minutes. Even in Japan, where people work for longer hours than the US, they still manage to put aside 117 minutes a day for chow. The only other countries to spend as little time eating are Canada, 72 minutes, and Mexico, under 70 minutes.
I was going to say, he showed the Mexican graphic on Canada.
And fast food culture, which prioritizes productivity over relaxation. The same can be seen in a related statistic on cooking times. Nowhere else on Earth do people spend as little time cooking every day as they do in America. Number 1. Government departments have official advice for reporting Elvis sightings.
What? Surely not anymore. Surely not anymore. Don't tell me it's still ongoing. If you tell me this shit's still ongoing, I'm going to cry. He's dead. He died. What? You're just looking for his corpse? What are we doing? It's like I can go and dig him up and I can tell you. I've got a great report for you. Get ready for this one, boys.
One of the things foreigners know about the US is that it's full of wackos seeing wacko things. There's a reason The X-Files was so popular 20 years ago. But it's one thing to hear about guys filming shaky footage of Bigfoot on their cell phone. It's another entirely to hear that actual US government departments have official advice for Elvis sightings. For example, there's the federal government's official website for copyright. It's a website that is paid for with taxpayer money, and it includes official advice on how to copyright your sighting of Elvis. This isn't a joke section put up by some light-hearted bureaucrat indulging a whim. It's completely mind-bogglingly serious, which means the government was getting deluged with enough requests about Elvis sightings that they went to the trouble to post official advice about it. So I really hope you found that video interesting. If you did,
what the fuck? Why would you even try and copyright a sighting? What? I saw Elvis, and I don't want anybody else to see him. I don't want anybody else to see him when I saw him. What does that mean at all? What? How on earth could that even work? That makes no sense. Wow. Wow. Some of those were fucking shocking. But yeah, that's going to be it from me. I do hope you enjoyed very much. Please leave a like if you did. Please subscribe for more. Comment down below anything else you would like to see from me. Till next time, guys, I'll see you later. Have a great 4th of July.